Hey, it's Jordan. Request Metrics uses a JavaScript agent to capture performance data from the browser. In this video, we'll build a TypeScript project with just a few moving pieces. That means no Webpack if we can help it.
What the fuck is this?
So Request Metrics needs to gather the performance data from browsers with a JavaScript agent. This will run on production users' browsers, so it's got to be small and self-contained. For now, we just want to make the simplest pipeline we can to build that agent. I want to write it in TypeScript because it's a little nicer than bare JavaScript. So let's write some TypeScript. And I'll put all my source in a new source folder. For now, I'll just make a basic agent file that we can pretend is going to be our agent here. And when our agent is constructed, we'll let ourselves know about it. Great, and for testing, we'll just do it. We'll just new it up right here. Great. So we wrote TypeScript, but this needs to run in the browser, so we need to get some JavaScript out of this. So to do that, we're going to need the TypeScript compiler, which we're going to run using Node. So we need to set up our project for Node. We'll just use the defaults. And so we have a package.json file now. Clean it up a little bit. Now we can install the TypeScript compiler. And we'll save to dev because this is not a production dependency of our browser agent. We should have a TypeScript compiler now. However, it's not compiling because we need to tell it what to do. So we'll make a config, which is JSON based. We'll tell it to make sort of the most basic JavaScript we can. That means no modules. And we gotta spit out some browser readable JavaScript. And then we gotta tell it where we want it to spit out files. So let's put in a dist directory. Also, let's tell it what we want it to read as input TypeScript files. So we'll just give it the source directory, anything in there. So now we should be able to run this again and give it our config file. And it spit out some JavaScript that looks very much like our TypeScript input file. Now I don't want to remember this command, even though it is not that big. So let's make a script in our package. So we'll make a build and we can literally run that same command. So now I can just run npm run build, which ends up doing the same thing. So now we can compile TypeScript, but when I'm developing, I don't want to keep typing some command. So let's see if we can automatically compile when we change things. Lucky for us, the TypeScript compiler supports this without any new tools or anything. So we should be able to just give it a command line argument and we'll say watch. So now run watch. So let's see if we can change something. And there you go, it's spit out into our JS output. Now we can compile things, but I want to run this code in the browser, and ideally I want to sort of test in the browser while I'm writing the agent. So let's see if we can run the code in the browser, and to do that, we're going to do a little copy paste, and we're going to use Express for this, just sort of as a utility to help us. So we'll install Express. And we just need this for development. we'll loop an express server. We'll punch it out into our dist directory to get our compiled agent. We'll serve out some demo HTML and start up the server. Now our demo HTML is just includes our agent, and that's about it. So let's see if we can run this. We'll make another script, demo, and we'll just run our demo server. So there you go. The agent ran. But all we did was run. What does debugging look like? So if we go in here and we look at our sources, we can see our output. This isn't the code we wrote. This is the JavaScript that TypeScript compiled. So can we get our original code in the browser and debug that? And we can if we tell the TypeScript compiler to spit out some sources maps. And we want to inline the original source code so we can see that. Now we're gonna have to quit. We're gonna have to npm run build. npm run demo, and you'll note that now there's a JS map file alongside the JS file. And now if we reload this, now we see a source folder which has our original TypeScript in it. We can actually debug that original TypeScript if we reload. Now we're actually hit that breakpoint. So great. Now we can run and debug our code in the browser. But you'll note I had to quit the demo and I had to recompile the code and then go back to the demo. So can I compile and run at the same time? The answer is yes, with one more package from npm. There's a convenient package to do this kind of thing, which is called npm run all. And this is also a dev dependency. And we'll make a new script to do this for us. And npm run all offers a bunch of utilities like run sequential. We're going to run parallel, and we're going to give it our two jobs we want it to run, which is watch for changes and run the demo site. So we should be able to just run npm start, because npm start is a special sort of keyword, if you will. So there you go. And it's still running. Now let's see if I can make changes. So I want to move this test out of the original file. I want to just interact with it in our test demo HTML. So we'll do a script just inline. That's good enough. And it still runs, and we'll see our sources, and that line's not in there anymore. So that's great. We can compile and run, which is going to make developing much more pleasant. But eventually, as we write more code, maybe one file is not enough files. We can put a lot of code in here, but maybe not all the code. So let's say we have another file we want, and it's going to be a basic utilities file, and it's going to be a basic utilities class. We'll just give it do some logging. And now we want our browser agent to use that utility. So we'll give it the utility and we'll call it. So the question is, does this work in the demo site? And it does not. Why does it not work? So let's go in here. Because there is no utilities that it knows about. We just know about browser agent, which just has the browser agent code. So why doesn't it work? If we look at the output of the TypeScript compiler, it made a whole new set of files which we are not referencing. So we don't really want to deal with that. We want just one file. So we can change the tsconfig to not have an output directory, to have an out file. And so we'll tell it what file we want. And we'll also delete this dist folder since it's got funny stuff we don't want. So now, spit it all onto one file. Let's see if this works. There you go. And if we look at our sources, the browser now knows about both files. But our initial dist just has the one, all the files mashed together. Great, so we have a whole basic framework for compiling and building our TypeScript-based agent without including too much in the way of external packages. And best of all, we avoided Webpack for now. Maybe in the future we'll need it for something more complicated, but we'll add it then.